In the South, large plantations fueled the Southern economy due to farmers who ran the plantations owned the cotton, which is something everybody needed for cloths at the time. Plantations grew increasingly popular and slave labor became high in demand. Knock knock, get the door. It's the North. The North resented the institution of slavery. Please stop slavery, the North said. No, said the South. Get rid of it, said the North. No, said the South, harsher this time. And thus the Civil War started in 1861. Along with it came all the destruction and chaos in its wake. Then came the first major battle in the Civil War, the Battle of Bull's Run in Virginia, Manassas, in July 1861. 2 months after Confederate troops opened fire on Fort Sumter to begin the Civil War, the Northern press and public were eager for the Union Army to take an advantage on Richmond ahead of the planned meeting of the Confederate Congress there on the 20th of July. Fueled by early victories by Union troops and with war fever spreading through the North, President Abraham Lincoln ordered General Irvin McDowell to quickly attack, hitting decisively at the enemy and opening a way to Richmond, bringing the war to a quick end. The attack would start with hitting more than 20,000 Confederate troops under the command of General Pierre Gustave Toutant Beauregard, located 25 miles from D.C. along a little river known as Bull Run. General McDowell said to Lincoln, "We need more time. Our men are not prepared." Lincoln said no, and with no other option McDowell went off to fight with his men. Lincoln thought the Confederate troops were just as ill prepared, and assumed correctly. McDowell's army starting moving from Washington to Manassas on the 16th of July. But its slow movement allowed Beauregard to call his fellow Confederate General Joseph E. Johnston, who brought 11,000 men from Shenandoah Valley. McDowell's Union force attacked on July 21st, firing at the Confederates from across Bull Run while more troops crossed the river at Sudley Ford to hit the Confederate left flank. Reporters, congressmen, and other spectators who had traveled from Washington were watching the battle from the nearby countryside and had picnics. Confederate reinforcements from Johnston and Beauregard armies soon arrived on the battlefield to rally Confederate troops. On Johnston and Beauregard's orders, more and more Confederate reinforcements arrived, even as the Federals struggled with coordinating assaults made by different regiments. Confederates ran towards the Union soldiers, screaming the rebel yell which would come to be infamous through Union troops. The Confederate troops managed to break through Union forces and Union's troops started retreating, thus finishing the First Battle of Bull Run and ending with a major victory for the Confederates.